Hello there, and welcome to This is the Waypoint, the one and only Star Wars show right here on the Shared Screens Podcast Network. My name is Chris, aka RebelPack92, and we are here to talk to you today about Episode 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Before we get too deep into it, boys, there's something that we usually do on the show that I didn't last week that I really want to touch on. Something that we like to do here is kind of talk about and discuss any expanded universe references or characters or little things that pop up. And there was a big one that I missed last week that I have to cover because I'm such an old Legends expanded universe fan. And Brett, you might know what I'm talking about if you heard about this as well. So you had the mother and child who were getting smuggled off planet by Kumail Nanjiani, right? Somebody pulled up IMDb, and they were like, I don't remember this character being in the show, and then went and checked the credits of the episode. The kid and the mother are Corran and Niche Horn. Corran Horn was a New Republic X-Wing pilot who later becomes a Jedi Master. He's featured all over he becomes like an X-Wing pilot with Rogue Squadron after Wedge Antilles leaves and he takes over the spot. He was in a whole series of X-Wing novels. He's featured a lot in the Fate and Fall of the Jedi series. He was a broken character to play as in the X-Wing miniatures game for a while as well. He was all over old Star Wars Legends, and so it was really, really cool to find that out. And so I don't know if that's on purpose, if that's just a little here's something for weird ass nerds like you. And so I was like, yes, please, thank you, I appreciate that, give me more. Now then, my name is RebelPack92, aka Chris LePack, or the other way around if you want to. Joining me today on the ones and twos, as always, we got Alec Bobco.
Hello there.
Riding the wave, there's one Brett Jamerson.
Sometimes you just gotta let the wave take you, man. You never know where it's gonna go.
And calling straight from the underground fortress Inquisitorius on the planet Nur is Josh Davies.
Hello there. What a shitty episode, let me tell you. Let's just
horrible.
Get right into this one. This one fucking sucked. We did this great celebration recap earlier this week. If you haven't already watched it, go check it out. Features our boy Boba Shinga. And we're talking about just how Mandalorian gets worked into a lot of these Disney Plus shows.
Yep.
And I was like, well, who do you think, is going to pick up Kenobi and Leia in episode 3 of Kenobi? Mandalorian, Din Djarin himself. He was not here. Henceforth, I didn't get what I wanted. And so this show sucks. This part 3 just big stinker.
It didn't cater specifically to you, which means it's bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be a Star Wars fan if you didn't say otherwise.
Exactly. Yeah.
All kidding aside, fuck me, dude. I love this episode. I just watched
it.
Yeah.
I just watched it. I can't joke anymore. God damn, that was an episode, dude. I am over the moon about it. I was just telling Al before we got in here because I couldn't hold it in. I literally, I watched the episode. I walked over here. This show tonally is kind of giving me everything that I wanted to see happening from this. We get this broken down, beaten, PTSD Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then his worst fear comes to life. Anakin's still alive, and we finally get the first little taste of the rematch of the century. And boy, was Vader scary in this episode, man.
Oh yeah,
just seeing his chest piece lit up, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, this full silhouette and just the chest piece and that whole armor up sequence, ripped kind of from Iron Man, but it's Star Wars and it's Vader.
But fucked up and weird, and you just the beautiful cut between Obi-Wan desperately reaching out to Qui-Gon, being like, "Oh God, he's still alive. What have I done? I need your help," and not answering, and remembering all of these things about Anakin and who he's become, intercut with just the monster that he's turned into, all get put together at the same time. I mean, just beautiful filmmaking. I loved every second of this episode, and so I want to know how you guys are feeling so far. We're halfway through the show now. Is this kind of hitting what you want? How do you feel about everything?
Oh yeah, it's hitting everything that I wanted it to. The thing I was not expecting with this episode or with this series was how tense it is. This entire episode, it was just.
Yeah, I really hope nothing happens to Obi-Wan.
A big chase scene, essentially, and I was tense the entire time. I watched this during my lunch break, and I'm like, I gotta eat my lunch at some point during this. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen.
Mhm.
But I love this episode. It was awesome. And yeah, can't wait to discuss the nitty gritty stuff.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. It's super tense, especially like that whole scene where they're riding on the transport too. And I feel like a lot of people
Yeah.
are gonna overshadow how strong the first half of this episode is just because the fucking second half goes harder and there's a whole Vader fight.
Yeah.
But like I love the first half, and when like he slips up in front of the stormtroopers and he's like, "Oh shit," like he says Leia instead of
Yeah.
the made up name, like more Inglorious Bastard vibes, which we talked about last week.
I loved that
And
whole
it's
scene.
just
Mhm.
That
I'm just
was
like so
incredible.
tense
I love
throughout it.
I love them just kind of shooting the shit with the mole man, and then
Right.
these stormtroopers show up and everyone's just like,
Exactly. And then they go right from tense to just like we're gonna hit you in the feels, because like when he turns to her and he's like, I see so much of her mom's face in her. It's like obviously to the stormtroopers he's referring to the story they concocted, but to us the fans, like we know that he's referring to Padme. And then she asks him like, "Yo, are you my real dad?" And I'm like, I'm crying in the club at 2 a.m. and I'm like, God
my
damn
heart,
it,
dude, because that's
Kenobi.
Yep.
intercut. Like immediately, you have to think like 20 minutes ago, he just found out that her father's alive.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
and so she's like, "Are you my dad?" And you could see him almost being like, "No, your dad's trying to kill us."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But instead he's just I wish I am, and yeah, straight just strong start, and we're carrying it throughout. How about you, Brett?
I think this was my favorite episode for
Mhm.
obvious reasons, but um, yeah, I thought Revo was written better in this episode. Um, and yeah, it was fun to see Rack, Empire, man. They got some good ideas. Let's not just throw out the
Everybody needs
whole.
everybody needs a little order, you
I
know?
know,
Voiced by
man.
Zach
Let's
Braff.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
Zach Braff.
Really?
yeah, I had that.
Uh-huh.
Holy
I
shit.
had that in my little references. Yeah, his voice, and I believe Zach Braff is in the suit.
Oh,
Oh, that's
really?
cool.
So that's
Damn.
literally him, which is really really fun.
Um,
Speaking of Riva too, I love the real like kind of classic Sith relationship that we see with the Inquisitors. They're always trying to one up each
Mhm.
other. They're always been like, "Ah, fuck you, no, fuck you," like that whole bit
Especially
when
with
she's
the
like,
Grand Inquisitor
"Sweet,"
out.
she's like,
Yeah.
"Sweet, I'll go inform Lord Vader," and second brother's like, "I already did."
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was very happy to hear about it. Ha, 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 ha. Like I was like, yeah, man, that's the kind of stuff I want to see out of these, out of
But
the
then she just
Inquisitors. So
comes
that was
back
cool.
right with, you know where I'll end up though.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Reva's tight so far. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going.
oh,
Others,
me
that was it.
or
Yeah.
Alex?
Others, yeah. You keep going ahead.
Oh, yeah, it was dope to see Obi-Wan be a badass with the blaster. That was like one of my big uh like hopes for the show was like him actually like he and he's using Freck as a hostage. I thought that was awesome. Like
A meat shield. Yeah.
totally just like not being a Jedi, which is like what I wanted
Yeah.
for part of the show of like him kind of doing that stuff. And then the only nit I gotta pick is why didn't Obi-Wan just go in the tunnel? Why did he stare at Vader for like 5 minutes? I was like, "Ah, get out of there, dude."
It's got that kind of horror movie thing of like just run, like please just
Yeah.
run. What are you doing? But I mean, I can't even imagine just like the fear and just like shock of suddenly like Vader being there. And
Yeah.
it's like he just found out he's alive and now he's seeing him there and
Oh
and
yeah.
watching him snap people's necks and lift them off the ground and shit. Like god damn,
Mercilessly.
That was
Just
nasty.
dragging that
These little
person
cock
behind him.
motherfuckers.
Like
scary, dude. He's a scary motherfucker. I
I
love
would say,
it.
speaking
Yeah.
of scary, the amount of time or the moments when they just cut out the audio
Yes.
in this episode was just awesome. Like
Mhm.
And then it always intercaps with it ends with like Vader's lightsaber turning on or the breathing cutting in, and I'm just like, oh, just inject it straight into my veins.
Literally. I was gonna say I watched this with the PlayStation Pulse 3D headset on, like,
Ooh.
and it just fully cranked,
Ooh.
and the sound mixing in it all. I'm like, oh my god,
What-
it's so good, dude.
I'll say, to me, the lightsaber sounds sounded a little bit like original trilogy esque. I
think
thought.
that's intentional too, is to kind of make them sound a little closer to their New Hope counterparts, which
Mhm.
is which was really really cool and good design. They're definitely for lack of a term, they're a little beefier still as far as the low end goes, because I mean, they're not creating these sounds on equipment from the 70s,
Right.
but
Right.
so they're able to play with the low end a bit more, but they're not as hefty as like the sequel trilogy sabers, which is
Mhm.
a cool middle ground.
Blend.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and so yeah, I've adored this episode. Like you said, Josh. Yeah, I think because we got to see a sort of rematch between Vader and Obi-Wan in this. People are probably going to overlook the first half of this episode, but it was really really great. Just the moments with Leia, finding out about what is essentially like a underground railroad for Jedi.
Yeah.
Just all these little things all came together, and this one felt just really really well paced, real tight. We even got a little shot of Darth Vader on a throne on Mustafar, which was really cool.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and just the characterization of I was kind of worried that it was going to be like a real quick turnaround for Obi-Wan, sort of like becoming the Obi-Wan that we see in a New Hope, but I like that he's still kind of struggling with this. Like the vision of seeing like Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker
Yeah.
out in the desert was wild. I popped off at that.
Same.
I was like, oh shit! That Timmy's wearing the robe.
Yeah.
Which
uh,
I was, or before this, just kind of give me a little like recap since I watched it a bit earlier in the day. I watched the kind of funny like review of it, and they're saying,
yeah,
or kind of theorizing, was that Vader potentially like force projecting to Obi-Wan,
nah.
or just
He's
like
got
desert
PTSD.
mirage?
He's messed up. He's got
Yeah.
PTSD. He's messed up. He's been living
Right.
with this guilt, and
Yeah.
hurt
It's an
for like
interesting
10
theory.
years.
Mhm.
Um, and then yeah, all of that culminates in Vader being there, and it's I love that you could tell that that's Hayden Christensen in that
Oh
suit, just the
yeah.
way that he moves when Obi-Wan leaves the building and he whips his head around like that. I was like, oh, scary. And I mean, yeah, him like dragging the people behind him, but even just the way that he fought, you could feel the anger behind it. And I love he's just kicking Ben's ass with one hand. It looks almost
Yeah.
effortless, but you can feel the anger and weight behind all of it.
Mhm.
Did
Mhm.
okay, since we're talking about the duel, did anybody get like Bespin duel
Oh
parallels
Yeah,
yeah.
with
100%.
It's all the
Vader using
fog.
one hand the whole time and like
and
totally
just kind of like running away.
just like
Mhm.
relishing in like the dynamic of the battle similar to Empire? Like I thought that was super dope. That was like
Yeah,
incredible.
it was really really well
I
done.
I felt that, but like I feel like there's even more of a struggle in Obi-Wan in that duel because like Luke's been training up,
Yeah,
like
they're it,
training.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like because Luke's like been training, but
Luke's
he's still just
ascending.
yeah,
Yeah,
and so like I feel like it looked like it was difficult for Obi-Wan to like wield a lightsaber for the first time in 10 years, and like he's like like Vader's hitting the lightsaber and he's like
Mm.
struggling to like hold it a little bit, which was fantastic, just like in terms of just
there's
putting in
also
the
a great little
character right into the
New Hope
choreography.
reference with the line referencing the New Hope line where he's like, "Your powers are weak, old man." Like I
Yeah.
love that
Yeah.
where he's like the years
Yeah.
have made you weak.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then can we shout out one of I think the best lines Darth Vader has ever said when Ben sees him and he goes, "What have you become?" He's like, "I'm what you made."
Made me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've become what you made me.
That was like
Like, you didn't kill
totally
me.
Anakin-ish, like saying
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was powerful, dude.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
that one I felt in my soul. I was like,
Mhm.
God. And
Goddamn.
then just to end like this perfect mirror thing, like Vader's pissed. He wants to unleash all of this anger on Ben and make him hurt like he's hurt this whole time.
Literally.
But
No, he
it's
did.
not gonna be quick. And he fucking lights Obi-Wan Kenobi on fire.
Yeah. Fucking insane. Is that what we've been referring to?
Is
I've been
that
Yeah.
trying to
is that
dissect
Ewan
this
McGregor?
background image.
If you've ever been to the beach and you body surf and you go on the sand at the
Oh
very
yeah.
end, that's what that scene reminded me of a little
Interesting.
bit.
It just scrapes up
These
it
background
scrapes up your
things are
whole arm.
they're getting too complicated. There's just such like subtext on them. I loved it.
Oh, that shot too of Vader like holding his hand up and the flames
Yeah.
We're up
Ryzen.
there, dude. That was insane,
Mhm.
man.
And then
Yeah.
I also love the shot. Just a lot of the choreography in this episode was really really excellent. But the shot when after the loader like grabs Obi-Wan and it slowly pans in on Vader's helmet, and you can see the flames like reflected in the lenses. I
Oh,
was just
yeah.
like, that's gonna be a poster on people's walls and college dorms everywhere, dude. Because
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
it was so good.
And
Yeah.
then
I love
Stormtrooper accuracy.
Gotta love it, baby.
Yeah, in which like I was kind of like, why is because Obi-Wan got shooters in this episode. Shout out whoever this Imperial officer is helping him out. But as soon as
Oh.
she just like cold cocks one of them, it doesn't start firing on the rest. It's like there's a whole battalion down there just like still just standing there, not sure what to do. Fire, or just put a couple more rounds down there, even maybe pop a shot at Vader.
I know, right? Yeah.
But she
I'm
didn't.
surprised she didn't shoot at Vader.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that she went for the trooper instead. But also, I respect that.
Yeah,
You know?
100%.
You gotta respect
I
Vader.
don't want that smoke.
There, yeah, exactly. And there was a straight up like moment because we see the loader like hold the hammer behind his back in the earlier part where it's again just tense as fuck. And I was like, is this
Actions
loader gonna
speak louder
fucking
than words.
bop Vader on the fucking head? Just fucking come up and like try to get him one. But no, that didn't happen. I also I don't know if this was just me personally watching it, but at the beginning of the fight when they're still kind of just running around wherever they're fighting, that first time he inquires Vader, I don't even think they speak. I think that's like the second time they stumble upon each other. Did you think that was that was another vision too? Because like that's kind of the vibes that I got was that it was still a vision, and then it's like as soon as the like lightsabers.
I want
come
to
on.
say the dialogue, the fight was super insanely awesome. Some of the like framework of like the shots were confusing. Like
Right.
I think when he's running away from Vader, first of all, it's like these like 10-foot sand dunes, and he's just like running around them, like trying to get away. Like what? Like
Yeah.
that was like one little thing. I was like, I don't know if like that is like super realistic. And then two, yeah, like he runs to the right, I think, and then it cuts to the next scene and he's running to the left. It was like one of those like just like I was like, wait, what?
Time had passed.
Where? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you're right.
I just wasn't sure if that was like the very first time.
This was like
that-
second rewatch.
So I had actually had the fact that Vader shows up and they dual spoiled for me before I watched it because Twitter is a cesspool of horrible people. It doesn't matter how many fucking words you have muted. If images
have
will
to stay
that
off.
away, and I can't.
Like I watched this episode not like when it dropped, but like in the morning, and I checked Twitter for like 5 seconds. And I couldn't. And I was like, yeah, nope.
People think they're being clever by being like Obi-Wan spoiler space, and then a huge image of Darth Vader and Obi-Wan dueling. Like fuck you. You know what? Stop doing that
Right.
shit.
I've seen people blur images. I don't know how you do that.
You mark it as sensitive images, but like people don't because they don't care.
Yeah, I don't know if that's mobile.
So no, I didn't. So no, I didn't think that it was a vision because I knew that he was about to fight him. So
I just thought
it didn't take away from the weight of it, but I knew it was about to happen.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about? Because this was something I was super looking forward to, and not that it's like bad, it just didn't like feel momentous or like I don't know if that's the right word. Like it didn't feel as monumental. There you go. As I wish it was. But when he first ignites his lightsaber, it felt kind of like
I actually like that it wasn't a huge moment. Because one, we get like this really cool like unfinished minor key version of the Force theme, which was originally Ben's theme in A New Hope before it kind of got changed to be like the general Force theme later on after 4. Because I think rather than it being like this huge heroic moment of him standing there with the lightsaber and doing all this stuff, it helps kind of feed like the feeling of fear and panic that he's kind of got going on. Like it's like he whipped it out immediately the moment Vader appeared. He was like, oh shit, like a reflex. And I kind of like that it was different than I was expecting it to be.
We'll still get that moment though later this season.
Yeah, so I agree with you. Like in that sense, it works. but also it's the first time he ignites it. So to me, that clashing of like not like I don't know, like that's like the moment where it's like he's like back in the jump with like
Right.
igniting his lightsaber. I like you
I
like
can,
what you
I can
say
still
is
see, I can still see a moment like that coming later. Maybe we get like a
Yeah,
cool
same.
80s Jedi training montage.
With him and
Yeah.
So
Qui-Gon.
I think we're gonna get one more. I think we're gonna get one more duel with Vader and Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, because this
finale.
is like the one where he, gets his ass kicked in the next one.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
thing is I think he's gonna duel Vader again. I still don't think he's going to win in that one either, because I mean, Ben has to think that Vader's irredeemable at the end of the show. You know what I mean? Just from the
Yep.
way that he talks to
Right.
Luke in Empire Strikes Back in Return of the Jedi, where he's like, "You got to kill him, or we're toast." Like, like or we lose. Like it's already over. Um, but I'm excited to see what that'll look like.
Yeah, I
And
think
so I
for
bet
this,
you we'll get that ignition moment there.
yeah, I think for this one being the more like he's getting his ass kicked, like on the run panic version,
Yep.
like fight. I think like I'm totally fine with how he ignited it on the defensive. Like that Vader could be behind any one of these 10-foot sand dunes, but he could still be there. And then yeah, the music cue just hit like fucking perfectly. Where I was like, I don't even care. This isn't like that triumphant of a moment. Y'all are still just hitting me in the feels with this music right now.
It looks great
Yeah,
too. I love the way his
because
lightsaber looks.
it had to
Yeah,
work on both. It has to work on like you said, like yeah, he's like afraid, he's
I
not
can
in the
see it
right
not hitting for
sense.
everybody. I can see a lot of people like really wanting like this huge, like heroic, like I'm
Mhm.
back. It's got the lightsaber out again. But it
right.
worked for me. I get it.
Yeah.
Plus, we know that from the Reva Black series, her blade comes apart. She, instead of going for the
Spoilers.
helicopter move, spoilers, sorry if you pre-ordered these
I mean,
figures
Hasbro
already.
spoiled it in a bunch with a lot of photos,
Lit-
like a lot of them.
Literally.
It was
I don't
at
know. I didn't
they
see
were
it.
they were showing off the figure at Celebration before the episode aired.
And so she trades in the helicopter ability for the dual wield ability, and so I think that might
That's true
be.
though, because there are photos of Reva with both blades like activated on her lightsaber as
Is
well.
it one or the other?
I don't know if it's necessarily
Because
one or the other.
she has like the circle guard
The
rail.
half circle one.
She
Yeah.
she has half a circle, so when she pulls it apart, it's like a little thing
Ninth
over
Sister
Yeah.
had
the
a half
fist.
circle until she activates the second blade though too. In
Right,
in
but
in,
it's
Fa- in Fallen Order, it was half circle, and then she's like okay, and she like kicked it, and the half circle like spit like kind of spit out in the second
yeah,
blade activated. So it might be along those lines, and maybe they just come apart too.
and so I
All
could
of
see
the
that
above.
being
She
like
had options.
I could see that being the very first like heroic fight leading up to like even a more badass heroic fight with Vader is like he's back, he's like wielding it again, and she's just fucking dual wielding
I
against
feel
him.
like there's got to be a duel coming up between Reva and in
Yeah.
Obi-Wan, right? And I feel like that's going to be
Yeah,
like the really high choreography one is going to be that one.
yeah,
Just because I mean the Vader suit, it can only do so much. I feel like that one's
Mhm.
right,
the Reva duel is going to pop off, or we might even see Reva just straight up fighting other Inquisitors, which would also be sick.
That'd be dope.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
fight
shit.
Han.
Woo! I'm very
Damn.
excited, but as we're getting up to time here, there are a lot of little Easter eggs and expanded universe references in this episode, and I wanted to go over some of them, in addition to some little fun facts, which is actually what I'm going to start with, which is the Stormtroopers that we see appear in this episode are using the Rogue One Stormtrooper helmets, which is a really, really great detail that I love. They are different than the ones that appear in the original trilogy. They're a little wider in the base. They sit further down on the head, so it's actually a little more flush with the chest. And you can always tell when it's those ones by the green lenses. I want to see if I can get my thing to show. Maybe not.
No, good luck.
Oh, good. Here's what we did by the green
There you go.
lenses.
Ah,
Okay.
shit.
Okay.
So a fun fact about this. This here is the Black Series Stormtrooper helmet made for Rogue One specifically. But these Stormtrooper helmets made for Black Series are actually essentially replicas of the screen used ones in Rogue One. They use the same mold for these that they did in the movie, which is really, really
That's
cool.
cool.
So it's literally the exact helmets that they use in Rogue One, which is a really, really fun touch. And much like Vader's helmet having the red lenses that we see in A New Hope and Rogue One, it's a cool way to kind of keep that continuity going.
Mhm.
What were some of the other ones I hear? We talked about the excellent scene on the speeder with Freck, played by Zach Braff. Obi-Wan mentions that he had a brother to Leia that he didn't know.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's brother was actually originally conceived in an early draft for Return of the Jedi. Obi-Wan was going to bring him up to Luke at some point, and it ended up getting edited out later. But that line of dialogue is actually still present in the novelization of the movie. So that's a cool way to kind of take a very tiny little detail and pull that back in the canon. So that's really neat. I'd love to see something exploring that a bit more sometime.
Yeah, I agree.
Speaking of expanded universe, Quinlan Voss survives. They fucking name drop him, which is awesome. I loved that. So cool.
I got that they were definitely name dropping someone. I have no idea who this is.
Quinlan Voss was a Jedi Master. He was on the council.
Oh, okay.
Which is why Ben is like, oh, he's alive.
Huh.
That's cool.
Wait, which one is he?
Hold on.
He's the dude that in the Clone Wars show, you could do the thing Cal Kestis could do, where he touched the ground and could sense like the history of that place.
He's a Kifar. He's got dreads.
He's
Okay,
he's the dude with like the green.
He's got like the green like paint on a it's like a war paint. He's also on the cover of
him and Obi-Wan dual Cad Bane.
That's it. Yeah, I was about to ask if that was
him.
Damn.
He was also on the cover of the Dark Disciple novel. Along with Asajj Ventress, but he's alive. How about that?
Damn, that's cool.
In addition, there's a lot of names kind of etched into the wall in Aurebesh, which is really, really great. People have already translated them and figured out what they said.
Kyle Katarn.
There was no Kyle Katarn.
Let's go.
There were 3 names that were visible in addition to Quinlan Voss. 2 of them are Rogan Ismarin and Jyn Altis, who are both characters from an old expanded universe called Children of the Jedi. They were smaller characters in that they're part of Luke's Jedi Academy later on after Return of the Jedi. So that was a cool little thing. But there was also one that is of particular interest and references the same expanded universe reference from last episode, which there's a name called Valen Halcyon inscribed on the thing. Valen Halcyon was the fake name taken on by Han Horn in order to help him survive the Purge. Han Horn, of course, the father of one Koran Horn, who we saw last episode. Interesting stuff. Very cool. I love that. The show is great. Star Wars is so cool, man. Star Wars is so rad. I love it. And I mean the big and obvious one, the planet Nur and Fortress Inquisitorius, as originally first seen in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Very cool. Yeah. So cool to see it in live action. We were watching it. I was watching it with Brittany, and I was like, I went in there. I tore that place up.
Damn.
I went in there and fucked this shit up, dude.
Now that we've seen all the shots from the interior, I think we're fully like out of trailer shots. Like there's absolutely nothing for 4 through 6.
There's one more, and it's another shot of Riva on Fortress Inquisitorius, and she's like swinging the lightsaber around.
Oh yeah,
that's the only shot I can think of that we haven't seen yet. But yeah, I mean, we're essentially out of the woods at this point.
Right. Because even the one with like that's basically started the episode with like Obi-Wan looking distressed. Like I would have assumed that was like when it's like they brought him to Vader or something like that from the trailers, not him just like meditating.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. What a show this is, man. What a show.
This intro gave me chills, like with him meditating like that, and like you hear all like the throwbacks to the prequels.
I was pulling the sound clips from Revenge of the Sith and Phantom Menace, like outstanding. I kind of wish they had left out the "Don't make me kill you." I've never loved the delivery of that line. I've never loved the delivery of that line. They could have left that one out, but I did love hearing Hayden Christensen again. I see it through the lies of the Jedi.
Oh yeah.
Cool stuff, man. It's so cool to see him on screen again. Like the two of them together. This is. I mean, we're all millennials. We all grew up with these movies. This is a dream come true for me, man. I'm loving this.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
And to see Hayden like actually back, like for that like Mirage scene, like
it's so good. He was there. He's wearing the robe.
Mirage scene, him in the bath, like back to tank, like oh my god, they're doing some cool stuff. Also, we didn't cover it enough, but I just want a special shout out to that shootout, especially when that one dude falls in the fence. So
Oh, yeah!
yeah.
yeah, we're all everyone's
Sunny.
again is gonna overlook that because of the Vader stuff, but like
Oh, yeah,
when they're like getting off the shuttle and fucking Kenobi's putting his hood up, I'm like shit's about to go down. Like this is some like fucking taken ass
Mhm.
vibe.
So well paced.
John Wick stuff. Yeah, exactly. And him using Frick as a human shield, man. I think he's
So
And,
so
co-
cool.
uncivilized.
and what a great way to show not tell, like the fact that it's like, hey, Obi-Wan's not the person he used to be, man. Like he's
Yeah.
still struggling with this. Like I love like
Absolutely.
how paranoid he is, and like the little things that Leia's like, no, we can trust this guy, you know, and Ben doesn't want to trust nobody.
100%. And like I'm starting to question now. The only thing the show's doing in terms of like questioning the existing Star Wars stuff is I'm like, why doesn't he go train Leia instead? Like Luke's just some like whiny like blue milk drinking.
He was
boy on
assigned because he was
Tatooine.
assigned to the boy.
Leia, though, you know, she's like she's compassionate. She's like trying to talk to the loader, and like she's like, why can't he communicate? Like they should all be able to
I
communicate.
assume
Like
it's
she,
probably her proximity to Bail and the Imperial Senate.
True.
Possibly. But
Like if
she
you
just,
started
like-
training a Jedi that was so close to Palpatine, like that might.
I don't know, man. She has the compassion, the leadership, like the heart of it all. So I'm just like, why go train Luke? Let him blast swamp rats or whatever with his TI-84 calculator and fucking pick his nose on the farm and drink some blue milk, you know? Train Leia instead, dog. What if?
I'm just wondering what you guys think. Will Vader actually see Leia in this
No.
show?
I don't think so. If
Yeah,
he does,
yeah.
he won't know. You know what I mean?
Right, but I'm just wondering because you
Mhm.
like, you know, he's supposed to be this like terrifying person. And it's like when you see her talk to him in A New Hope, it's like she just talks to him like any other person, really.
Yeah, 'cause she's that good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't
She's
know.
that good, man.
Like lies straight to
I
his
could-
face. Like, oh,
Yeah,
just a thought I
I could
had.
see
like,
Reva. I could see Reva like totally hiding the fact that she did this to him, but I could.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool. I think.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, we know it's not Leia's first brush with or last brush with Vader, I suppose.
mhm.
So love that. And on that note, this is the Waypoint. Thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, if you've been watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, tell us what you think. Are you freaking out the same way that we are? Because who bought this show? If you haven't watched Obi-Wan Kenobi, what are you doing here? That's so weird of you to
Yeah.
click on this video. Fix your life.
But thank you.
And watch 45 minutes in.
I know. Yeah, the fact that you lasted this long, that's amazing. And I love that. Drop a like, subscribe, all that fun shit, and we will see you at the next Waypoint.